known around Hollywood as the king of porno. Yeah. Yeah, the guy's a real freako, the king of porno, and we're going to try to put this guy out of business once and for all, and all of his crummy friends. We should lock them all up for the rest of their stinking lives. King of porno is going to be here, William Margold. Oh boy, hardly wait. So stand by for that. Now, everybody, Wally George here with the Wally George Great American Radio Show. And we're talking now for a while about pornography, which I said a little earlier, I think should be outlawed. We're going to get you involved, and you can tell me what you think about porno. By the way, we have a line open in Orange County in the 714 area code. It's 977-KLAC. 977-KLAC out in Orange County. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a man who produces pornography films. He stars in his own films. Oh, boy. William Margold is here. How are you, Bill?
Oh, I'm good. I'm great.
Boy. You know what, Bill? I've had you on my TV show a couple of times, and every time I see you, I get a little more sickened because you are so proud of this lousy, rotten business that you're in, which is so degrading to this wonderful country. Pornography. You're proud of pornography.
There's nothing degrading about sex. I'm an entertainer. I'm like Reggie Jackson, except I play with a different type of bat and a different type of balls.
All right, I don't want to hear that. But what I'm saying, there is something degrading about pornography because sex is not meant to be dirty and filthy.
We're not dirty and filthy. We're performing decent acts in front of the camera.
Oh, decent acts. Well,
decent acts.
All these raunchy, filthy...
Adult, decent acts.
All these raunchy positions you put these women in.
They're having fun. They're being paid.
But sex is meant to be beautiful. It's meant to be an expression of love between two people who love each other. You have made sex dirty, degrading, filthy, and I think you should
I've turned it into lust. And there's lust in everybody's soul.
It's not supposed to be lust.
Of course it's supposed to be lust. Aren't we allowed to have lust? Aren't we allowed to dream? Aren't we allowed to have sexual fantasies? We are a catharsis. We get America off, not out in the street like Rambo with a hatchet in its hand.
It's supposed to be love, and I'll tell you, right now, the Attorney General of the United States of America, Edwin Meese, is going to put people like you out of business. I'll tell you.
Well, seemingly that's his desire, and he was warned when I testified in front of the Meese Commission that if indeed he succeeds in driving us back underground where we came from, then he will unleash the hounds of hell. We're better off left alone where we are than being driven back underground, because underground is where the spurious pornography is created.
Well, I'll tell you what the Attorney General is saying is absolutely correct. We have got to take a stand. We have got to say that this moral country, the United States of America, will not tolerate filthy, rotten pornography anymore, and I will help the Attorney General lead this movement to make pornography illegal in the United States of America, so people like you will have to either close up shop or go in the slammer.
But nobody forces anybody to watch what we do. No one drags them in off the street. No one forces them into an adult bookstore. America has a dirty mind, and as long as America has a dirty mind, we will attempt to satiate that dirty mind.
You may have a dirty mind.
I don't have a dirty mind. I think sex is healthy, wholesome, and a whole lot of fun.
Not your kind of sex.
What kind of sex? What are you talking about? I don't perform anything with animals or kids. That we abhor. The XRCO, the X-Rated Critics Organization, the Adult Film Association of America, 976-XRCO are all vehemently opposed to any aberrant sexual situations. We promote heterosexual and occasionally homosexual acts between consenting adults.
But the kind of picture that you paint is so horrifying. I've seen some of the stuff that you do and other porno films. I have gone I don't criticize anything that I don't see for myself, and I have seen the kind of stuff that you and people like you put out, and I'll tell you frankly, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Then you've gone to the wrong films. We put out 10,000 of them in films like Deep Throat 2, Every Woman Has a Fantasy, Sexually Altered States, Fantasy Follies. Great films in the categories of Unnatural Phenomenon 1 and 2. Those are legendary videos and theatrical ventures that would entertain anybody.
But the kind of things you do to women,
What do we do to women? They are paid, they volunteer, they come in, they are actresses.
You degrade them, you put chains on them and ropes, and you have them...
With their consent.
Yeah, but how?
With their consent.
But what kind of women are they who give their consent? They're
actresses,
animals.
performers.
They're animals.
We're all animals.
No, you
We're
are...
all animals. These are just women who desire to be exhibitionistic animals.
You people don't deserve the word human being. You are animals.
We are performers.
I mean,
we are creators, carnal creators.
Carnal, yeah, you can call it that, but it not only is degrading, but I'll tell you, what pornography is doing, it's not catering to the decent, moral people in this country. It's catering to perverts and sickos and rapists and sadists and molesters.
Then you're saying 60 to 70% of the nation are perverts and sickos and rapists and
I don't believe
various aberrant situations. We have the bookstores, the adult video bookstores are in by the volumes. People pour in and pick up the tapes. They come in and they get Bambi and they get Debbie Does Dishes in Dallas.
Well, I'll tell you what. The kind of people that I see walking into these video stores are
normal, healthy American, red-blooded, defenders of the flag citizens.
We'll see about that when we go to the phones, and we'll see the kind of people.
And speaking of defenders of the flag, they defended the flag so we can produce this type of material and freedom of speech, freedom of creativity.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Pornography is not only horrifying and degrading to America, but it also is very harmful, as the Attorney General said.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography.
Yes.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography.
Some people have been killed by rapists who viewed pornography and then got...
We are a catharsis.
No.
Those studies only prove what they want to prove. They are not factually based.
Let me read to you a little study that we have here.
Those are bleating feminist swine who are anti-sex, anti-human.
No, these are doctors. Now, this is a report...
Because their doctors are sanctified?
No, let me read you what some doctors have to say who have investigated pornography. Dr. Robert Morrison of New York says this, quote, "Hardcore pornography is for antisocial people who can't make it with real people, so they have to watch actors do it on the screen. I believe the decline of morals in this country is due largely to what young people are permitted to read in magazines and see on their television screens. Pornography is a disturbing, violent reality in American life."
But newsreels are pornographic.
Now, this is what else he says about pornography. Violence is only a small part of the damage pornography causes. It also wreaks havoc on naive people who fall for the false promise of anything goes sex life. And how do you answer that?
The thing is, we allow people to live out their fantasies through our videos and through our films. People who see what we do not act it out. They get off behind it and they go to sleep very happy with a smile on their face.
Okay, here's a Dr. S.A. Green, who investigated pornography, and he says, quote, Dr. Green is a psychologist, "I agree there's a link between pornography and violent crime. People with violent tendencies are attracted to this type of material, and prolonged exposure can lead them to act out their fantasies."
And prolonged exposure to the sun can lead to skin cancer. This is ridiculous. Pornography is blamed for everything. If the Lakers lose tomorrow, they'll blame it on pornography.
All right, now, here's something else that I want you to respond to. They interviewed a few people who were exposed to pornography. And this was a woman. And she said, in this study of porno, she said, "I was married to a man who was addicted to porn. I tolerated it at first because it seemed harmless, but soon his choice of material got raunchier and he developed an obsession to act out his fantasies. Our sex life became a nightmare. It became sadistic and cruel from his watching pornography videos." Now, how do you answer that?
The woman obviously is fantasizing something that never took place. She says what the interviewer wants to hear. I guarantee you that was taken out of context.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Here's another one. This is from a lady who says porn is like drugs. This young lady was interviewed by Dr. Morrison, and she told him, "Doctor, porn is like drugs. You start with something mild, then you go on to the harder stuff." Now listen to this. This is from a young lady. "My father started watching nude pictures. I used to find him hiding in the closet looking at pictures. Then he moved on to videos. And it was so perverted you wouldn't believe it. After watching porn videos for some time, he began molesting my 2 little sisters. He tried it with me once, but I yelled and made him stop.
I guarantee you,
Now,
pornography did not do that to the man. There are certain people who are already over the brink way before anything we create or you create enters into the picture.
You don't know what the heck you're talking about,
Oh, yes,
Margot.
I do.
Because
no one has ever come up to me and said, I've ruined their life. Let's put it that way.
these doctors, these
Where did you get
psychologists,
out of the National Enquirer?
these psychologists who read...
Or is that the Star or the Globe?
No, it isn't. It's from a national magazine, and these doctors who examine pornography say that, yes, it does lead people to committing rape.
It's a catharsis. 100% cathartic.
I tend to believe the psychologists. I don't tend to believe...
of course you tend to believe the psychologist. I wouldn't doubt you if you did.
I don't believe scum like you. Now, I wonder how you feel about pornography. I say, let's outlaw it. Let's throw these guys out of business. If you want to talk to me about it, here's the numbers. In the 213 or the 818 area code, it's 520-KLAC. 520-KLAC for Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley. If the lines are busy, keep on trying. Out in Orange County, the 714 area code, it's 977-KLAC, 977-KLAC. We'll get to your phone calls in just a moment. Stay where you are. Wally George here on KLAC. Wrangler. KLAC, the great station, the great country music station. Remember, 24 hours a day, we play country music, and on Mondays we talk on the Great American Radio Show for 3 hours from 7 until 10 p.m. You'll be here with me and tell your friends about it. Next Monday we'll be on late. We'll be on after the Rams game at approximately 10 o'clock. Next Monday night from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the following week we'll go back to our regular time. Don't forget, I'm also on television every day, Monday through Friday at 4:30. Until 5, we do the Hot Seat Hotline on KDOC TV, Channel 56, 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday night, we do my big nationally syndicated Hot Seat show from 11 until 12 midnight every Saturday night with my live studio audience. And I'll tell you, they are the best audience in the whole world as we fry those liberals on the hot seat. Saturday night, 11 to 12. On KDOC TV, Channel 56, you be there. We'll be looking for you. All right, now, we're talking to William Margold, who is known as the King of Porno. And, William...
you know, Wally, you give me that title, the King of Porno, and you're the only one who calls me that. The King of Porno is John Holmes. There's one and only king in the industry.
Well,
I appreciate it. You might call me the Renaissance man of porn, or the bad boy, or the Peter Pan.
Well, you've been in it for a heck of a long...
15 years.
15 years.
And I look none the worse for wear and tear.
I wish people could see how raunchy you really look.
How raunchy do I look?
You look like a pervert, but you look... You really do.
Am I a mirror image?
Yeah, I'll tell you what really bothers me, though, is I want to know where you find these girls. You probably go down to hang around down at the bus depot and try to find these poor little innocent teenage girls
no,
who
on
come
the
into
contrary.
town, who come into town looking for work in the movies, and you lure them in with your
That's
vile...
the real world. We're not the real world, Wally. And as I ran an agency, the biggest agency in the world for 10 years, there were ads in the papers, and the girls would come and see me, and I would warn them what the industry would do to them. I would warn them it would haunt them the rest of their life.
You
I did
warned
not.
them?
Oh, absolutely. I would not let anybody into the industry until they knew what it would do to them. But when they came in not for the money and not for the sex, but for the glory. I can make people immortal. I can make them stars.
What kind of...
I can make them self-esteem worthy.
You can make them tramps.
Oh,
is what you can make
absolutely
them.
not. I can make them actresses. I can make them stars. I can give them some self-worth. How many places can you go and get self-worth?
How can you say that you can give these little porno starlets self-worth?
Come to a bookstore when one of these porno starlets signs 1,000 to 2,000 autographs in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Come to the CES show, the Consumer Electronics Show, and watch 5,000 people line up to get an autograph from the likes of Vanessa Del Rio or Tracy Adams or Marilyn Chambers. We are legend. We are history.
But what you have done to these women who...
I have done nothing that they didn't want done to themselves.
Yes, you have.
Oh, absolutely
You
not.
have poisoned them. You have made them filthy creatures. And one day, when they get a little older and they get married and perhaps want to have children, then the shame is going to hit them when they realize what they are, that they someday may have to tell their kids that mommy
I warned them about
was a
that.
porno star.
I warned them about that, and many of them are very objective. And in fact, right now, there are porn stars having babies. There is a whole new generation situation. People have finally realized that they can have kids and bring them into the industry and be mothers as porn stars as well.
Well, I don't believe that. Let's go to the phones and see what people are thinking about this. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Wally. This is Mike from L.A.
Yes, Mike, what do you think about this? Do you want to talk to Bill?
No, I just wanted to ask you a question.
All right.
I wanted to know why all of us have to suffer just because your sex life isn't that great.
What are you talking about?
Why can't we all just, you know, have this,
wait a minute.
just because your sex life
Just
isn't
a moment,
that great
pal.
and you don't happen to
You don't know
like
anything about my sex
this
life.
certain thing. Just because you're not having the greatest time, why does all of us have to suffer?
Well, how old are you?
What?
How old are you?
I'm 22. How old are you?
You sound
65?
You sound like you're about 13.
You sound like you're 78.
Now, why do you say that because of me? Listen, there's nothing wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with pornography. It doesn't do anything wrong to anyone.
Oh, no. Listen,
oh, no.
Hey, pal, listen. If you have to use pornography to get excited enough to have sex, then there's something wrong with you. You see, I don't happen to need that to make me excited.
Pornography is like gasoline. You put gasoline in your car to get to one place to another. X-rated films get you to a certain point where you can have some more fun.
Hey, do you need this to get yourself worked up to...
It's a salt. It's a spice.
I'm talking to my caller. Are you still there, caller? No, of course not. He hung up because he's so ashamed of himself. He's so ashamed, he finally hung up, of course. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello? Hello, you're on the air. Hello?
Hello, this is Henry from Hollywood.
Yes, go ahead, Henry.
I once met Mr. Margot.
Oh, boy.
And,
what a thrill, huh?
Yeah, well, I think he's a nice man.
Oh, really?
Let's start it that way.
Oh, well.
He printed one of my articles in Hollywood Press.
Who are you?
I'm just, maybe you could count me as maybe an acquaintance, I hope.
I know exactly who he is, and he's a person highly reflective of the audience that enjoys good sexual stimulation. His second article will appear in the Hollywood Press on Wednesday.
What kind of articles do you write, Henry?
Well, I've written a critique, basically, about the industry.
The porno industry?
Yeah, and basically
Tell me one thing.
Excuse me. Basically, one of my personal dreams is to actually be in the business.
Oh, one of your personal dreams, Henry, is to be in a porno film?
Yeah. Why begrudge a man his dream, Wally?
Boy, Henry, I'll tell you, you have wonderful ambitions, don't you?
Oh, I do. I think I'm proud of it. I think Mr. Margold...
Don't call him Mr. Call him what he is, scum.
Will make a greater contribution to society than you ever will.
Tell me one thing good that pornography does.
Well, what I call it is a bloodletting of the soul. People can only enjoy life when they truly learn to enjoy their sexuality.
A bloodletting of the soul. Boy, now I've heard everything. Boy, oh boy. Okay, Henry. His big ambition, Frank, is to be in the porno film. Well,
no,
listen,
he wants to create in the porno industry.
Well, why don't you let him?
I'm going to do my very best to let him do it. I encourage anybody who thinks that they can create, they can always send to me whatever they want, and I will try and get them a chance, give them a chance to air their opinions.
Henry
Wally.
sounds like he might be a good star for one of your movies.
I don't think Henry wants to go in front of the camera. He prefers to write. He's a very sensitive man. I've read 2 of his articles. They both run in the Hollywood Press. I was very impressed.
Nobody who has any sensitivity.
Tremendous amounts of sensitivity.
Nobody who has any sensitivity would want to be in your crummy business. Nobody. Let's go to the next caller. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Tony.
Hello, Tony.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
I just want to say that I think you got this guy out of the gutter.
I certainly did.
And you should put him back in the gutter so I can run him over.
Well, what do you think about the pornography industry?
I think it's disgusting and it makes me sick. My husband took me to an X-rated movie once just because I was curious.
Yeah.
And it made me sick and I walked out.
Sex made you sick?
Yes.
What?
No, the movie. I think it's disgusting.
What movie was it? Do you remember?
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat made you sick? That innocuous, giggling motion picture made you sick?
Listen, I went in, when Deep Throat first came out, I do not believe in bringing anything down unless I see it with my own eyes, so I went and paid $5 to go and see Deep Throat. I know what this lady is talking about. I know, Tony, what you're saying. I sat there, Margold, for about 7 minutes. And what I saw on that screen was so disgusting.
What was disgusting about oral sex?
Yeah, oral sex. And what I saw...
Does Tony indulge in oral sex?
Wait a minute. It's none of your damn business what she does. Now, you see, you're trying to drag her down
I'm not dragging anybody
into
down.
your gutter.
And I enjoy being in the gutter. If I came up on the sidewalk, I'd be in your level, Rolly, and that's a bore.
But like Tony, what I saw on the screen was so sickening and so disgusting. After 7 minutes, I got out of there.
Well, let me recommend Deep Throat 2 to Tony. I think she'd enjoy that a little bit more.
Well, I just think it's disgusting.
What's disgusting about
that
sex?
you make money off something so disgusting. I mean, that must excite you to make.
No, I don't do it for money, Tony. I do it for glory. I do it for glory.
You know why?
Immortality.
You probably do it because it's the only way that you can see a naked woman.
I think so.
Okay.
I saw 10,000 of them in 10 years, Wally.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
I prefer them with clothes on.
that's the only way that he can find a woman is to hire her for one of his porno flicks. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
This is Paul from Paul's Verde.
Yes, Paul, go ahead.
I'd like to ask your king of porn a question.
Go ahead.
Anything you'd like to know?
Bill Margold.
Yeah, I'd like to know if he has any qualms about corrupting the young minds.
I'm not corrupting the young minds. I think that the family corrupts the young mind by lying to them about sex. I think that society basically corrupts the young mind by preventing them from learning about sex. No one drags children into X-rated theaters. No one forces pornography down children's
throats. To it
The thing is, how did you learn about sex?
from friends.
Okay. Do you believe that you learned properly? Did you believe you learned correctly?
Yeah,
Well,
'cause I'm not a sicko like you.
Why am I a sicko?
Hey, hold on, Bill.
He asked me a
No,
question.
No, first, I want to interrupt you a minute. How can you, do you really think that kids can learn from watching your videos about sex?
I think they can be entertained.
If they watch your videos, young kids, they're not going to learn. They're going to be perverted. Their minds are going to be twisted and warped. Don't
They
you?
can watch the newsreel and get twisted and warped.
What do you think about kids watching porno films, caller? What's your first name, by the way?
Paul.
Okay, Paul, what do you think about, and you say they haven't got access to them. Yes, they do, because...
Sure they have access
When
to
I was
them.
a kid, there was.
Yeah, well, they can get a hold of those videos.
I'm not saying they can't get a hold of them, but they should put their trust in John Leslie rather than Ronald Reagan. At least John Leslie's honest.
Well, I'll tell you, they certainly should not be watching what you're putting out. And kids do get a hold of your videos, and it does hurt them psychologically.
No one ever died from an overdose of pornography. I keep on saying that. And there's nothing sick about healthy sex.
There's... your kind of sex that you have in your films is not healthy.
What's not healthy about heterosexual and occasionally homosexual sex between consenting adults?
You are not... we, in this country, are not supposed to be watching people indulging in hideous sexual
Then
practices.
we should all be blind, deaf, and dumb.
No. Sex should be practiced by
in the dark, under sheets, under a bed, in a tomb.
I'm turning you off for a second, so I made my point. Sex should be practiced by two people who love each other, who are married behind closed doors. Wally George, I'll be right back.
Most talked about talk show host on
Yes.
television and radio, Wally George.
Yeah. Thank you, Stoney. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you much. Welcome back. Thank you, Stoney Richards, for that great introduction. Really, he did a good job on that. We welcome you. I'm Wally George, and we're here every Monday night, normally from 7 until 10, the Wally George Great American Radio Show. Next Monday, we'll be on a little late. We'll be on at approximately 10 o'clock following the Lakers game. So be on board for that. And then I'll be following at 10 o'clock, approximately 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock until 1 a.m. next Monday. Then the following week, we'll be back to our regular time, 7 until 10 p.m. from now and for the rest of eternity. We will be here. Our great producer, Frank Pollock, we have in studio, I'm sorry to say, and we're still spraying heavily with Lysol. We have William Margold, who produces and stars in his own porno films, and he gets these poor young girls in all kinds of trouble by starting them off on a sordid lifestyle.
Yes, that's a miserable way to make money, isn't it?
You know what I've said, Bill, for a long time, sex is not a spectator sport.
Of course it is.
It is to be shared by two people behind closed doors who love each other. That's what sex is all about.
Sex is an entertainment, an amusement, and people take it way too deathly serious for its own good.
It's not an entertainment. It's an expression of love. Do you know what love is?
Yes, I do know what love is. I love the X-rated industry. I love the family of X. I love to preach the gospel of X. I firmly believe in what I do.
Love is one four-letter word, Margot, that you don't know anything about. You know all about the other four-letter words.
Lust.
But you don't, and the others, but you don't know about love. You don't know, because if you did, you wouldn't be doing the junk that
I
you're
am
doing.
very much in love with what I do for a living. I'm very much in love with the lady I'm living with now named Viper.
Viper?
Viper.
And I suppose she's...
The notorious viper, a woman who does it all and basks in the glory of it.
And she stars in some of your films,
Absolutely.
right? And you let her do that.
I worship the fact that she does.
Can you imagine?
More power to her. She has a chance to express herself.
Do you love her?
Very, very much.
And so you don't mind seeing her entire body exposed?
I'm flattered by it. And in fact, her body is very well worth exposing. She's an ex-Marine, an ex-member of the American Ballet Theater.
You don't mind that every part of
every particle and every pore
of her body is
Absolutely.
exposed, and the woman you love, you don't mind that she's exposed
and
in
as
that
she
way.
said to me after I performed sex in 2 movies recently with Patty Petite and Gail Force, she enjoys my making love to beautiful women.
Boy, I'll tell you, you really are the worst.
I am the best.
Let me read this this is from Dr. S.A. Green, who did a study on pornography and some of the terrible things that happened. He said that he describes in detail, I can't read you the whole thing, but he describes in detail 5 cases of priests who were caught molesting boys. They all had hundreds of porno magazines and videos in their home.
And the Bible as well.
But, you see, they were entrapped. They were lured to do these filthy things because...
Pornography made them do it?
Yes.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
Well, do you think the Bible...
No one forces anybody to look at pornography.
Do you think the Bible made them
I wouldn't doubt it. The Bible probably frustrated them to a sense that they had no choice but to do it.
You fail to accept the fact that psychologist after psychologist, psychiatrist after psychiatrist who have interviewed and examined sex offenders, molesters, rapists, all tell you that they are collectors and viewers of pornography, and they will tell you, Margold, that yes, by watching this kind of junk, these porno videos, it does excite them, and it does make them feel excited, and from watching these videos and so forth. But wait a minute, they go out on the streets to find a way to have their sexual frustrations relieved. So what you're doing, these videos that you're selling, these guys get all worked up like these priests, and they go out after watching these videos and they commit some sex crime.
Yes, but it's interesting to note that the Mies Commission had its own detractors. When the Mies Commission said there was a connection between violence and pornography, there were women on the commission itself who refused to acknowledge the fact that it does exist.
Well, the
reports are only one-sided, Wally. Let's see something positive for porno. God, no, nothing positive for porno.
There is nothing positive about porno.
There most certainly is. It's a catharsis. It gets America off. The poor, lonely man who can achieve no other sexual satisfaction can get off that way.
When I was a kid, pornography was illegal. You couldn't get it except from across the border in Tijuana. Porno magazines could not be sold on the streets. Porno films could not be bought. People who sold them had to sell them out of the trunks of their cars.
But it became commonplace because America wanted to see it.
No, it's because people like you corrupted America.
America wants it.
You corrupted the morals.
They revel in it.
I repeat, you people corrupted the morals of America.
If they didn't want their morals corrupted, we would not be able to do it.
Let's go back to Orange County. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Ron from Norwalk.
Yes, Ron?
How you doing, Wally?
Pretty good.
I just want to express I'm totally against pornography. I think pornography is not sex. I think it's sexual perversion.
Good for you.
And I also feel that pornography can work against people. It could be very dangerous if it is used abusively. It can actually work as a drug, just the way people are hooked on the drugs. People can get hooked on pornography. And I am not against sex. Sex is beautiful and wonderful.
That's
God
right.
created sex.
That's the same way I feel.
But God created sex as a part of a plan for procreation and for the recreation of the husband and wife.
And Ron, I'm glad...
That sounds rather restrictive.
I'm glad, Ron, that you brought up that particular point, because you are right. People can get hooked on porno. There have been many, many articles from these same articles that I was just reading from, where they say men will get hooked on it. They can't live without it. They buy more and more of these videos, get more and more turned on, and go out and commit more and more sex crimes.
That's right. And I feel there's nothing wrong with the act of sex. Sex is beautiful, but also a lot of pornographers like to use the excuse, well, God created the body nude. What's wrong with looking at nude women and people? But when God created Adam and Eve, when they fell from God's grace and transgressed against his laws, they felt ashamed of their bodies, and they covered themselves up. because
We're trying to make America not so ashamed.
What's that?
We're trying to make America feel less ashamed by exposing the body in interesting ways.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the point. You're trying to go against the actual plan of what God created sex for, and that's why there's so many emotionally disturbed and physically diseased people going around today.
If God had not wanted a sex recorded, he would not have invented the video camera.
Well, he didn't invent it. Man invented it.
But God created man.
Well, the man is using his own will to do whatever he pleases.
Well, are you going to restrict every form of creativity?
I'm not restricting anything. I'm just telling you what pornography does to people.
What did it do to you?
What it does to me, it makes me sick because it makes me feel that there's a lot of men with no backbone who can make commitments to women without going around acting like a dog.
That's
well,
right.
Not everybody can have a partner. There are a lot of lonely people in the world.
Well, there's always a male for every woman. They just need to have time and patience to go out and be bold enough.
It's not as easy as you think, friend.
All you're doing is just going out the easy route because you don't have the guts to make commitments to people.
And Ron, think about the young kids who get their hands on these 6 porno, and like you said, they portray men as nothing more than dogs, animals.
What they are.
That's exactly what they are. Ron, God bless you. You have a lot of good common sense. Thanks for your call. Let's go back to Los Angeles. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Who's this?
Britt.
Who?
Britt.
Britt?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting for about 5-6 minutes now.
Okay, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Britt.
Yes, hello, Wally. I'm from Westwood, and I'd like to ask Bill this question.
Yes,
Sure.
Britt.
Bill, how is it, even in speaking with Wally and to the audience, can you condone homosexual acts when you know that for years and years and years and decades, gays have been carriers of very virulent sexually transmitted diseases, and knowing this, how do the actors and actresses in your profession guard against this?
The actors and actresses in my profession, which is a very insulated world, are probably far healthier per capita than any other walk of life in the world. As I told the Mies Commission, you don't want to build a house with a broken hammer. We inspect our own genitalia on a regular basis. We go to the doctors on a regular basis. We are